Tonight, a seismic shift in America's legal landscape. The Supreme Court has just delivered a unanimous 9-0 ruling on firearms that could redefine your rights, your safety, and the power of government. In a rare moment of total agreement, all 9 justices have spoken with one voice, sending shockwaves through the national debate on guns and law enforcement. What does this landmark decision really mean for you, your family, and your community? We're cutting through the noise to investigate the real story behind the ruling, and what it signals for the future of gun laws in America. From police powers in your home to the fate of controversial red flag laws, the implications are massive and immediate. Why did justices from every corner of the ideological spectrum unite? And how could this decision ripple through every state in the nation? Activists, lawmakers, and citizens are already reacting, some demanding more change, others warning of new risks. The conversation is just beginning, and the stakes couldn't be higher. How will this ruling shape your rights and your neighborhood in the days ahead? Stay with us as we break down the facts, expose the myths, and reveal what's next after the Supreme Court's historic 9-0 firearm decision. It all starts now. Here's what you need to know. The case, Caniglia versus Strom, asked a simple but crucial question. Can police enter your home and take your guns without a warrant, just because they're concerned for your well-being? This community caretaking exception has let police enter cars in emergencies, but does it apply to homes? Edward Caniglia's story began after an argument with his wife. He agreed to a mental health evaluation at a hospital. While he was gone, police convinced his wife to let them in and seized his 2 handguns without a warrant. Caniglia was released from the hospital the same day, but when he returned, his guns were gone. He sued, arguing his Fourth Amendment rights were violated. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, usually requiring a warrant signed by a judge. Caniglia's lawyers said there was no crime, no warrant, and no emergency. Police argued they were preventing a tragedy, not investigating a crime. They claimed the community caretaking rules should let them act quickly to protect people. The case became a direct clash between government power and the right to privacy in your own home. The Supreme Court had to decide, does the Constitution allow this kind of warrantless entry? Their answer would set a national precedent. To understand the stakes, let's look at Edward Caniglia's story. It started with a heated argument at home in Cranston, Rhode Island. Caniglia, 68, placed an unloaded handgun on the table and made a desperate remark. His wife, alarmed, spent the night at a hotel. The next morning, unable to reach him, she called police for a wellness check. Officers spoke with Caniglia and persuaded him to go to the hospital for evaluation. While he was gone, police told his wife they needed to remove his guns for safety. Feeling pressured, she showed them where the guns were. Police took the firearms without a warrant. Caniglia was released from the hospital the same day, cleared by doctors. Returning home, he found his guns gone and police refusing to return them. He hadn't been charged with a crime or declared mentally unstable. His property was seized without due process. That's when he filed a lawsuit, arguing his constitutional rights had been ignored. The case would soon reach the highest court in the land. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously for Caniglia. All 9 justices agreed. The community caretaking exception for cars does not apply to homes. The Fourth Amendment draws a firm line at your front door. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that the home deserves the highest protection from government intrusion. Cars are different, mobile, regulated, and less private. The justices agreed this case was about the Fourth Amendment, not gun rights. Both conservatives and liberals saw the home as a sanctuary from warrantless searches. The ruling was narrow. It didn't strike down red flag laws or say police can never enter a home without a warrant. Emergencies like fires or immediate threats are still exceptions. But in Caniglia's case, there was no such emergency. The court made clear, police can't use community caretaking as a shortcut to enter homes and seize property. The decision sets a strong precedent for privacy and due process. The immediate impact? Police can no longer enter homes and seize guns without a warrant just because they think it's for your own good. The community caretaking excuse is off the table for home entries. Officers must now follow strict legal procedures, no shortcuts. The ruling puts red flag laws under a microscope. These laws let courts temporarily remove guns from people deemed dangerous, but due process is now front and center. Legal challenges are likely for red flag laws that allow gun seizures without a hearing. States may have to revise these laws to ensure stronger protections for gun owners. Police departments nationwide will need to retrain officers on the new constitutional boundaries. Wellness checks can still happen, but the front door is a constitutional line. the government must now prove its case to a judge before entering your home and taking your property. The balance has shifted. Privacy and due process come first. The Supreme Court's decision has energized civil liberties and gun rights groups. The ACLU sees it as a victory for privacy and a tool to fight warrantless searches in all contexts. Gun rights groups like the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation are using the ruling to challenge red flag laws nationwide. They argue that any law allowing gun seizures without a full court hearing is unconstitutional. These groups want red flag laws repealed or reformed to require a full adversarial hearing and a higher burden of proof. Public defenders and criminal justice reformers also support expanding the ruling. They say vague standards like community caretaking have led to abuses, especially in minority and low-income communities. The Golden Crate. Make sure everyone's rights are protected no matter their background or property. The push is on to demand stricter adherence to the warrant requirement. The Caniglia decision is now a rallying cry for broader constitutional protections. The debate over expansion is just beginning. What would expanding this ruling mean for you? It would strengthen your privacy and property rights at home. Police could still check on your welfare but couldn't enter or seize property without clear evidence or a warrant. This protection would apply not just to guns, but to any property, like prescription medications. Your home would truly be your castle, safe from government intrusion based on vague concerns. But there's a trade-off. Critics warn that raising the legal bar could make it harder to intervene in real emergencies. Families worried about a loved one's mental health might face delays in getting help. Proponents of red flag laws argue that quick action can save lives. An expansion could make it harder to get court orders for temporary gun removal, even when danger seems imminent. The central tension, protecting individual rights versus preventing potential violence. Expanding Caniglia would tip the balance toward privacy and due process. Supporters say that's the right call. Opponents worry about public safety gaps. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision is a landmark for the Fourth Amendment. Your home now has the strongest constitutional shield against government intrusion. Police can't use community caretaking as a reason to enter and seize property without a warrant. The ruling was narrow, but its impact is broad, especially for red flag laws. Expect a wave of lawsuits challenging gun seizures without full due process. States will have to defend or revise their laws to meet the new standard. The next big question: will lower courts apply this ruling narrowly, or use it to scrutinize all warrantless home seizures? Civil liberties and gun rights groups are pushing for expansion. The courts will be the next battleground. For all Americans, this is a reminder of the ongoing tension between safety and liberty. The Supreme Court has drawn a bright line at your front door. We'll keep watching and keep them honest.